They all sound so similar to each other.
And that's when you have a hockey guy around football guys.
I loved Buds.
Welcome in to the Mittcast official playoff prediction.
Playoffs.
Ignore the fact.
Playoffs.
Ignore the dead and gone, never forgotten, or Mittcast preseason playoff predictions that we lost.
Shits was ass.
They were ass. Had some Florida State. Had some Michigan. It wasn't even. What other team? We had some Miami in there.
There was no Arizona State.
There was
Boise State.
There was no Boise State.
No SMU
So no SMU.
SMU.
There was some Liberty. Oh,
I love Liberty.
although my preseason champion is still here, and I think I'm gonna rock with them. But before that, we have some topics we got to discuss. The young man, Bryce, was officially not here. He requested that we talk about some topics, so we're going to throw him into this video and talk about him here. So that being said, we got the Michigan-Ohio State game. More so, Bryce wanted to talk about the flag planting, which we never got to do here fully on the Mittcast as itself. So, Bryce, you were the one that wanted to start it. I'll let you initiate that conversation.
You know the Eagles in the NFL, right? Let me introduce you to the Michigan Wolverines. One of the worst fan bases. One of the most cocky groups ever to exist. Flag planting, hit or miss. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it's interesting. But it went way too far during the Michigan-Ohio State game.
I don't know what happened or necessarily what went wrong this year, because we did it 2 years ago to them, and there was nothing, no reaction. And we did it this year, and
I think it's just because of the pure embarrassment of the losses.
I would probably agree.
If what's being taken into account is the embarrassment of the loss, Ohio State needs to get a grip.
4 years in a row.
You guys are the fucking second seed. I'm sorry. Quit crying.
Michigan barely bowl eligible. You're one of the top contenders for the Natty.
Yeah,
and you lose at home.
This is the biggest upset in the rivalry.
Yes.
Rivalry's history.
I was rooting for Michigan.
The second time the flag came out, I think, was unnecessary. Things had already escalated too far. At that point, keep the flag away, go home.
Yeah. Well, and the skipping around in the group of Ohio State players waving.
That's the second time. That's what Tony was talking about.
And then he tries to drag it into the middle and hits Ohio players with it. And gets it ripped out of his hands. You deserve that. Stop being dumb.
I agree. The second time, you gotta recognize the situation and take a step back and not be the one to continue escalating it.
The first time the players are facing the media team, it was going to be a shot for newspapers, websites, front covers, social media. It was going to be this thing because they had done it the 2 years prior, and it was good for the team.
Michigan isn't new to fights, though. Isn't that right?
This
common denominator in every Big Ten fight.
Common denominator in every Big Ten fight.
Name another Big Ten team that
Texas and Oregon planted the flag in the Big House this year.
That's not a fight.
I'm just saying.
And then they left.
No, you know what Michigan did? They walked off the fucking field.
Okay,
Michigan lost 5 games this year. When did they start a fight after a loss?
Name another Big Ten team.
Maybe it's these other teams can't handle losing.
I hate this train of thought because it's the high and mighty. When you got caught cheating, you can't take this high and mighty.
What does that have to do with it?
Yeah, that feels like an oddball to throw in this.
You are now changing it.
No, because the goalpost always gets moved. This motherfucker, he planned this. He knew this would happen.
He did.
Bro said content.
Anyways, the goalpost always gets moved with this whole high and mighty thing. Oh, is one guy, lone wolf. Blah, 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 blah. Now they're like, give him a statue. Give him a statue. He deserves it. Give Connor a statue.
What is happening?
He deserves it.
now?
He's a wonderful
Talking
man.
about Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't think this took the turn you thought it would.
It's just the voice I was doing at first, and then maybe going to my.
At this point, it's become funny how much it pisses everyone else off. That
You suck.
It is just what it is.
It's the fact that in the tunnel we don't know what was said, and I don't
It is
advocate.
one player by himself.
It doesn't matter if it was one. We don't know what was
You
said.
represent,
It
you
does.
represent the organization.
He
You
was.
got that jersey.
That-
There's
fair
the video of him walking up the tunnel by himself and then got jumped.
I'm not justifying anything here. There's nothing that I am justifying here. We don't know what was said. We don't know what he did. We don't know what the other players did. We know what the other players did afterwards, comma.
We don't know what the
whatever.
precursor to what
And
happened
then this year, it's fucking.
It is an interesting point from Zach that multiple teams planted their flag at the big house and nothing sprung from that. But it was when Michigan won and planted, and
Yeah.
after those games, something
Yeah,
happened.
the point I'm making
in
is
big rivalry games
the point
where
I'm-
things were
Well,
already
I'm not.
heated.
But the thing, the initial fight with Ohio State coming in, not right. But then, and I know you're gonna say it's the one lone player again, but then going back, dude.
No, 100% that's unnecessary.
it was a one player reinitiating it, but then it got everyone into it because they see their guy going back into it, and then they're going back into it too. So it was one guy that restarted it because everyone else is getting broken up, and then all of a sudden you see the Michigan guy with the flag coming looping around and then right back into it,
And then you try to cut
and
through the
then
middle.
boom, it gets
trouble.
exploded again.
And then the Michigan State one, I think it was mutually started. You have Colston
Yeah.
Loveland and I don't even remember who for
I don't
MSU.
remember either.
Anthony Jones.
Anthony Jones at the very end of the game, getting in each other's faces.
I think his name's Anthony Jones.
You
He's a depth guy.
You throw blows, and then everybody gets into it, and
Well,
shit
I mean,
happens. I
and-
feel like that's again heat of the rivalry.
But-
Shit happens.
The point I'm trying to make with the winning and losing and is if it's such a Michigan problem, I don't get why it's only an issue during the wins and not during.
Maybe teams seeing
Getting
them as
belt to
sore
ass.
winners type of thing,
Just the
talking
whole
too much
week, though,
shit.
was filled with just fights. That
It
whole
was.
week was
It was that
Dude,
whole
that entire week was
yeah
a
that
shit
whole
show.
There was
night
so
was a
much
shit
flag
show.
planning.
I think by the end of the night there was like 28 teams involved in the on-field or
And
during or after
what do we
fight,
There was 4 flag planting attempts.
What do we
and
think
then the pitchfork plant attempt too.
Should flag planting be illegal?
No,
Ohio says yes.
Okay, here's the thing.
it shouldn't be illegal.
That's
shouldn't be
soft.
As big of a problem.
Dude,
as,
so fucking soft.
You stole it from me. I forgot. It shouldn't be as big of a fucking problem as it is because it's like.
It
it's
is
fucking-
symbolic,
it's
right?
Yeah, it's stupid, and I think Ohio State's reaction to it, especially Jack Sawyer, because I don't know if you guys saw the clip.
Yeah,
I
so
did.
Bro
It
was
was fucking
actually
dumb.
bent out of shape about that shit. Be more bent about the loss, not the fucking flag.
But then it's all the stuff afterwards, and it's like if you guys are this high and mighty, then just walk off the fucking field, get your boy, and go.
I think
No?
flag planting is all good and well. Teams need to give the moment a break. Go run over to because in college football, there's always a few front rows that are designated for friends and family. Go run over, celebrate with them. Let the opposing team get off the field, and then do it.
That feels
Give them
appropriate.
time because I think that's what Texas did. Because if you look at some of the photos, the bench for Michigan looks pretty empty. Like let the field be emptied out and then go ahead and do it.
I feel like U of M tried to do it in the heat of the moment. The game had just ended. Go get the flag.
Yeah, the game. Yeah, when you go back to
Bad timing.
when you compare the two recent ones, the Michigan ones against Ohio State this year and last year, the flag planting at Ohio State in 2022. You didn't really see that until the pictures came out on social media after the game. You didn't see it on the broadcast. Whereas
Right.
here, you saw it on the broadcast. So
When I think so, I know you always bring up Texas did it and Oregon did it. However, you don't have those aren't your rivals.
True.
there has been pointing out. You guys have planted the field in South Bend, by the way. I'm not like
So this was before I was a college football guy, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time that Michigan decided to plant a stake at Spartan Stadium and they got their
That was
ass handed
stupid.
to them.
That was.
It's literally just a wooden stake.
Even some of the players on Michigan team were like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
What is going on right
Devin
now?
Gardner was interviewed. He's like,
Probably the
he's like,
weirdest
What
thing
are we
people-
doing? You know,
Okay. Devin Bush defiling the Spartan logo in midfield makes more fucking sense
There's
than throwing down a stake into your own sideline.
yeah, that one I will never understand. That stake, that
Like,
Sports.
it's sports.
Football.
I get the metaphorical thing. That was stupid,
But
especially
however-
when we were getting belt to ass by Michigan State at
however,
that time.
before we got off track here, with Oregon and Texas doing it, it's not a rivalry versus say Ohio State were to go do that in the Big House. I expect Michigan to have almost the exact same reaction as Ohio State, and if Michigan State were to do it in the Big House, the exact same thing. If
Didn't
Michigan
Ohio State do
were
it in the
to do
Big
it-
House a couple of years
They
ago?
didn't plant. They ran around the field with the
Yeah.
flag, but they never
and if
like
Michigan were to do
planted
the
it.
same thing in Spartan Stadium, I would expect Michigan State to do the exact same thing. It's fucking stupid, but it's also stupid to go plant the flag like that. I understand, like, the emotions are high and the adrenaline is pumping. And you're like, yeah, fuck these motherfuckers. We hate them because, yeah, you do.
It's the mentality
It's
of
just-
walk in your trap, take over your trap.
Yeah, and I get it. And obviously, this is my team. I'd be like, fuck yeah. But it's fucking stupid to do. And you know you're going to cause a fucking problem doing it when it's your biggest fucking rival. One of your, like it's one of your rivals. Your actual rival. You don't have that many rivals in college football. When you do it to one of the few that you do have, it's fucking stupid because you know what's going to happen. That's kind of what more so I'm upset about.
I found my chips.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm telling you, like, if you guys did that in Spartan Stadium, exact same reaction. If we did that in the Big House, exact same reaction. If Ohio State did that in the Big House, exact same reaction.
Well,
Like, it's
I mean, Ohio State has done some shit in the Big House, like tearing down the MGO banner that the team runs under. So
yeah, and that's I get the hate
here
but-
and there, but yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
so wait. So they tear down the MGO big banner, and then what does Devin Bush do midfield? Oh, but that's fine.
I don't know. That was the MGO banner was way long ago.
That was in 2006.
More like the fucking 80s.
Oh.
But you know, like there's is what it is.
You know who doesn't have to worry about conference rivals or anything like that?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
What are your thoughts about them not being in the conference? I know your thoughts, but the crowd doesn't know your thoughts.
Put us in the Big Ten. I want it. I want us to join a conference. Do we need to? No. Will we? Probably not.
Well, and like now it only makes more sense to join the Big Ten because USC, Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue are all
of our
there in the
rivals,
Big
yeah.
Ten. Like,
We'll join the ACC.
Well, and for the CFP format, you guys are gonna want a
Well-
bye if that type of thing continues. Where if you're a conference champ, you get the bye.
I think the bye format's going to be going away, but I
It's
also
gonna
think
change.
Notre Dame's athletic director knew what he was doing with that 5 seed, and by being perfectly fine with Notre Dame not getting it, because looking at the 5 seed in Texas and the path that they have, come on, I'd rather be Texas than Oregon right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather be fucking Penn State than
That side
Oregon
of the
right now.
bracket is the
Like,
best. And that's what I was gonna say. Our argument is 5 is fine.
yeah, 5 is.
Home field. I think there's an argument to having a playoff game under your belt, winning at home gives you more juice than a bye week does.
The bye week gets you healthy.
Well, and
Injuries, put them to the side. Put them to the
This is
side.
college. Injuries don't exist in college.
Put them to the side for now.
well, and the weeks are all
Disregard
weird.
the
It-
8-year
you get a
season.
week and a half off
You still get
anyways.
time off.
Yeah, you're still getting.
That's enough time.
Yeah, at what point is it taking time for injuries as opposed to now we're just getting cold?
Yeah.
More time than you get to go into conference champs. It's more time off. So, I mean, with us not playing a conference championship game, we get that week of rest. So essentially, we have a bye week to play an extra playoff game to give us extra motivation.
Yeah, because Oregon's last game was December 7th. They won't play again until January 2nd. Meanwhile, Notre Dame's last game was November 30th. They'll play again the 20th.
20.
The 20th.
20.
So I have a valid question here because it does pertain to Notre Dame not being in a conference. It's something that I saw Josh Pate bring up in one of his latest shows was a different kind of format where the Big Ten and the SEC kind of take their ball and go play by themselves. Where the Big Ten and the SEC get 3 auto bids. And I don't know if that's just the top seeds or anything like that. But this would be a slight expansion to maybe 14 or 16 teams. And in that case, those 3 auto bids, obviously they're going to be damn near close to the top 6 seeds, which gives Notre Dame less of a chance for having a home game for that college football playoff, because that's probably going to stick. Everyone's going to love it. So with that forcing Notre Dame maybe possibly down to the 8 or the 9 seed and being on the road the entire time, even if they do add more rounds to be at home in college campuses, then what? Because now you're never going to get to play a game. But that's not what I'm saying. It's not mega conferences, but it's the Big Ten and SEC flexing their muscles and being like, hey, we have the best teams. We want 3 guaranteed spots compared to everyone else.
You're seeing the money that the Big Ten and the SEC are able to throw around. You had Purdue, arguably one of the worst teams not arguably, one of the worst teams, easily the worst teams amongst the Big Ten and SEC, went and got UNLV's coach, Barry Odom, to be their next head coach. When that guy could have sat it out for a little bit longer, probably gotten a better job at a better school, at a school where his resources probably, or like his starting roster would have been a little bit better.
Like a school in like the tier of like UNC where Bill Belichick just took that kind of tier school.
But like he took Purdue because the money is there, and it's the same thing. That's why Indiana got Kirk Cincinnati this past offseason, is because they realize where the conference is going, and I think some of these teams also realize what's happening, and it's like, and they're potentially worried that the Big Ten or SEC is gonna like, all right, pick it the fuck up in football or get the fuck out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these teams start getting booted from Big Ten or SEC.
Hot take.
Penn State, you're out.
So at least in like that scenario, then kind of what are your thoughts on not being in a conference versus being in a conference?
Well, I mean, that completely changes everything, so I would agree with you.
Because
in the sense that being in a conference would be more helpful.
Because like at least with the stuff that Josh Pate brings up on his show,
I would argue
he's a pretty highly respectable guy.
The third team who sits out the conference championship game would be the best spot.
Well, the case that he was pointing out is like that conferences that would move away from a de facto 1 and 2 matchup, and they would do like a 3 versus 4 play-in matchup. And give those 1 and 2 teams, you're in. Let's give you the break. Let's figure out where
everyone else is.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one and 2 would still play the conference championship.
Oh yeah, but he was like 1 versus 4 or something like that, or whatever. Basically, like a whole conference championship weekend is what it would turn into. Is what, and he's always been on the inside too.
Yeah, he was mentioning that is something that the Big Ten and the SEC brought up at first, and obviously the G5 schools and the ACC and the Big 12 and the then Back 12 were like, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
We're just as good as football as you. And they're like, oh, really? And then they settled for the conference championship buys, and now I think more teams are like, shit. Seeing especially how many SEC and Big Ten teams just filled up the bracket.
Yeah.
Let's count them out real quick.
Let's
1, 2, 3, 4 Big Ten teams. 1,
3 SEC teams.
2, 3 SEC teams. That's more than half the bracket.
Yeah. But with counting out those teams, I think it's time we do some quick bite-sized previews of these teams that we got in the playoffs, and we're going to do it based off the rankings. So we'll start at the 13-0, number 1, Oregon Ducks. Nasty. I think my personal opinion is Oregon is not overrated, but like I don't think they're all there. I don't think they're going to win the national championship. I said it before the year. I don't think any team's ever going to finish undefeated again, and I stand by that. So with that being said, I don't think Oregon's going to go and win it all.
I think Oregon is the best team in college football.
Bryce?
Oregon is not winning at all. No.
In the wise words of my friend Frank, quack, quack.
All right, Bryce, give us your thoughts on 11-2, number 2, Georgia.
Georgia's looking mean. But
Keep them off the highway.
they blew that lead to Bama. They have 2 big wins against Texas. Are those big wins, though? Because Texas are fraudulent team. I think Georgia is a good team. They can be beat, though. They obviously can be beat.
Colbert.
I mean, they got the athletes. They're an SEC school. They got the athletes. They still have a solid defense. And I mean, this is a team that won with fucking Stetson Bennett. But I don't know. I think just the SEC as a whole is a little overrated this year, and I don't think Georgia is as good as the 2 seed, to be honest with you.
My thoughts on Georgia, I agree. They got very lucky in a few games this season, like Georgia Tech, especially now with Carson Beck being injured.
That's a big factor.
Could see some struggles in the playoffs or potentially be one and done. Tony?
They gonna leave this tournament the same way they drive on the highways, real fast.
Goodbye. Well, moving on to the 11-2, number 3, Texas Longhorns. Tony, give us your thoughts.
Is that the team with Arch Manning?
It is the team with Arch
Yeah,
Manning.
they fucking suck.
I know what Bryce.
He's aight. The team's ass.
I know Bryce has some thoughts on Texas. Mine are on the complete opposite side. I know they've lost twice to Georgia. I still think Texas is the best team in college football this season. I'm going to stand by that, and I think my playoff bracket will kind of reflect that. Colby?
They beat everybody else and lost twice to Georgia. But like I said, I think the whole SEC was overrated this year. And I was high on Texas. I thought Texas was, going to be up there with Oregon, and they were both going to go into this undefeated and be the national championship. But I don't think Quinn Ewers can take him there. That's obviously kind of heavily implied by people talking about he should enter the transfer portal because they want to move on to Arch Manning, and he's not ready for the draft yet. Everyone agrees he needs one more year, and I don't think you can trust a true freshman. Or no, he's not a true freshman. He's a redshirt freshman now, right?
Correct. Yes. Arch is redshirt.
I still don't think you can trust a redshirt freshman Arch Manning to lead you in the playoffs. I mean, he is a Manning, but we've seen very limited.
Bloodline only takes you so far.
So I do think they are a little fraudulent, and I think they're overrated like most of the SEC this year. I said what I said.
Throw in Manning.
Superiority.
It's time. I think Ewers is bad. I don't think he's NFL talent at all.
I think
as a 7th round QB at best.
I think he needs to progress.
He definitely needs another year for sure. But I think Texas is a well-built team. I think they're coached
And Sark is one of the best coaches
decently
in
well,
the nation.
but the coach decision-making, the play calling, is what is screwing them completely, and that's why I think they're fraud.
Well, does that fall more on Sark or does that fall more on Quinn?
Whole staff.
A whole staff.
Full staff.
Not even Quinn?
Full staff. I mean, it falls on him because they're not calling the plays that are successful for Ewers. They're not letting him. I think they're trying to build something for Manning, in my opinion. I think they're trying to build it for Manning.
So do you
They're
see
focusing too much on. Obviously, Arch is getting reps in practice, a lot of reps. I think they're building not a 2 QB system, but something to where they both can understand it and both can progress fast because they know Manning is their cash cow.
Are you seeing in a similar situation like a Cade McNamara, J.J. McCarthy situation in 2021 where Michigan was trying to
double.
Right. Because obviously I'm not like Cade is Quinn is a lot better than Cade, but
yeah.
He threw a 180 and picked a Charles Bradley when he was a freshman. I think he's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, that's all I'll say on Texas. Coaching staff, bad decisions during the game. That's what's making them lose against Georgia.
11-2, number 4, Penn State. Bryce, your thoughts?
Penn State is sneaky.
Sneaky.
They're a sneaky team in this bracket.
Dude ain't familiar with Big Ten, James Franklin.
Penn State is a sneaky team. I think they're tough. They gave Oregon a decent shot. I'm gonna spoil the bracket, but they are not to be played with. You have to play them like it is the national championship.
I mean, James Franklin's gonna James Franklin. I know he is. However, they are a very, very good team. Drew Aller has looked a lot better as a passer. He has progressed a lot, at least I think from last year to this year. And then you got Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, probably the best backfield in the nation when you're talking about two running backs, because Ashton Genty does exist.
Khalil Mullins and Donovan Edwards existed this season.
Yeah, big play down him for what? Nothing. Get off my NCAA cover. They got got a super solid defense, and yeah, they took it to Oregon. I think they are one of the best. I think they're better than Georgia. I really think Georgia's very overrated. I think they are a very good team. They have all the talent in the world, but I think James Franklin is going to James Franklin, and he's going to fuck him over.
I'll keep it short, sweet, and simple for you. Like Colby said, James Franklin, gonna James Franklin. Tony.
Penn State ass.
I'm gonna skip number 5. We've talked about Notre Dame a handful of amounts, so we're gonna skip Notre Dame. Moving on to 10-2, number 6, Ohio State. Tony.
Man, they lost to Michigan. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I agree. Michigan.
I'm sorry, you lost to a team that almost was 500. Get the fuck out of these playoffs.
Michigan has broken Ryan Day mentally, at least just in terms of the Michigan game. We'll see if he's fully done mentally in these big games, and he's going to turn into, as I've seen, and as Colby has kind of said before, the Michael Jordan of James Franklin. So we'll see.
What was the straw? What was the straw that broke Alabama's back? They lost to Vanderbilt. Tough.
I got 3 things to say about Ohio State. $20 million team, and for what? You got dog walked by Sharon Moore. That's embarrassing because of Sharon Moore. And third of all, I know y'all won like 11 years straight, but how the fuck are y'all let Michigan reclaim the ownership over you in your dog shit state?
You know, throughout this, I'm really seeing kind of some dissent between the original members of Mittcast.
Okay.
This new edition of Mittcast. Ohio State is one of the best teams in this playoff bracket. They have looked well on defense the whole year. I think they had a very bad game. I think they were overlooking Michigan completely. I think they were looking forward to Oregon. I think they're really prepping for Oregon. And you gotta watch out for Ohio State.
I don't quite agree with that sentiment. I don't think you overlook a rivalry game like that, no matter how shit the other team is.
That brings us to their matchup, 10-2, number 7, Tennessee.
Overrated.
Bryce, are you just keeping it nice, short, and simple with the overrated?
Dylan Sampson is good. That's about it.
Colby?
Bro don't know about Nico. They're going to blitz Ohio State.
Bryce just going to keep thinking that like we got some kind of connection over here because I agree.
For real, they over there conspiring.
I think Tennessee is one of the most explosive offenses in college football.
I agree.
And I think Nico's going to fucking trounce Ohio State in Ohio Stadium. Nico is a damn good quarterback.
Okay. Next.
I would agree with Colby. I think Tennessee is a very good team. They lost to Georgia. They let one game get away from them in Arkansas. Other than that, they won games pretty handily all year long. So I think Tennessee is probably one of the more sleeper teams in this playoff.
Georgia's overrated. Tennessee's rated just right.
Well, I had to pick them or Ohio State. And you know I didn't fucking pick Ohio
Well,
State.
we ain't talking about the picks just yet.
No. They could be a terrible team. I ain't picked the other guy.
Moving on to 11-1, number 8, Indiana. Give me your thoughts on Indiana.
The Hoosiers?
And what they did this season.
I mean, I feel like their schedule, people pointed out it was softer.
Right.
Until the very end, they played a couple of decent teams, but I would expect them to carry a decent amount of momentum. I don't think people are really giving them a fair shake, but I think at bare minimum, they're going to go out in a blaze of glory, or they're going to just push their way into the second round.
That's fair. I think maybe the clock is about to strike midnight on the Cinderella story for this season. Not to say it wasn't worthwhile or it's not meaningful.
It's a great story.
It's a great year. It's a great year for Indiana, and I hope that they can continue to build on it because I do like the story. I like the vibe around that they got there. I just think the gas is kind of running out of the tank. The clock's going to strike midnight. Cinderella has to leave the ball.
I really thought you were about to get up and start a fist fight with Zach.
They're
You're saying nice things about Indiana.
They're a good team. They're not a great team. They have well-developed players from James Madison that are not Big Ten talent or athletic caliber players, which is why they got trounced by Ohio State. They're a good team. They're not great. They have very well-developed, very great technique-wise players. Very technical players.
It's a great system.
You just don't have the athletic abilities to keep up with these playoff teams, especially knowing who you have to face. I don't think they have a shot.
Well, it's
And
finally something.
I do think they should have never made the playoff. However, as Big Ten superiority,
I think they deserve to be in the playoff. What they did was impressing this year. They're a good team. I think they're the
Just not a
worst team
great
in the
team.
bracket.
good
I
team.
think they're the
Not
worst
great.
team in the bracket. And I think their coach and the whole team overall is overhyping themselves. They think they're something they're not, and that's what's going to hurt them.
They said, "Let's go win a playoff game, bro!" And that's about it. That's the game plan. That was the video in the locker room. They're like, "All right, guys, video sesh. Here we go. It's just on the
It
board.
was just them
win."
complaining that they don't have home field. That's what their practice was.
Yep.
I was gonna say just
Fuck you,
on,
Indiana.
on the video board is just win.
Moving on to the 12-1 Heisman snubbed number 9 Boise State Broncos. Bryce, give us your thoughts.
Fucked. Rigged. Ain't no fucking way. Well, I don't know how we didn't cover that in our fucking
Oh,
review.
we forgot to. But
But fucking.
here's
there's
the moment,
There's
too.
no way. We're curving. No way he should have won.
No.
You
way
know
he
that
should have won.
scene in Cars where it's the it's like the montage of Chick Hicks getting the Dynaco sponsorship. Just turn to the camera. Travis Hunter, eat your heart out. Fuck you, buddy.
Like-
Undeserved.
When you think of running backs, like I think of Najee Harris at Alabama as being like, whoo, and then Gentry's just above that. Like he's carried the team on his back. He
You
should've
put
won.
him in a good running back system in the NFL, that guy's gonna be a fucking monster.
So the argument I consistently saw against Genty was, well, his competition wasn't that great. Okay, cool. Also give him a power 4 line then.
Same with Colorado though.
Yeah, give him a power 4 offensive line like Bama or Ohio
He
State.
shatters
Oh,
Sanders.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
shatters Barry's records.
Yeah.
Shatters.
Like
Yeah.
it's
If he
The
can
dude
do
is
that
twisted.
with shit teammates, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
With
like
Bama's
I think the
fucking
greatest argument I saw was
groomed
okay.
babies for
If you guys
football.
think Travis Hunter should win the Heisman, have him and Ashton Judge switch places. Ashton Judge plays for Colorado. Travis Hunter plays for Boise State.
Coloro's in
Who-
the playoffs.
yeah,
who
Hunter
do you-
is cooked.
Yeah, who do you
Colorado's
think
number 1
puts
in the
up the
playoffs.
better performance then? Because I don't think it's Travis.
and Colorado has a fucking terrible offensive line.
He had one of the best quarterbacks in the nation throwing to him, and that feels so weird to say that Shedeur ended up actually being one of the best quarterbacks in the nation.
I was surprised at how well he turned out, but it's an argument of I've seen this a couple of
And
different
it's-
places. You were talking about someone who plays. Everybody's going to be the argument. He plays 2 positions. Cool. He is mildly above average at one, if not both of them. Genty is an elite running back
Well, let's
of a
not-
generation.
Let's not get it twisted. Travis Hunter is an elite corner. He is an
Yeah.
elite corner, and he is an elite receiver. However, when you play the Big 12 and you play a Big 12 offense, I'm sorry, but your production as a cornerback in the Big 12 does not.
It
Cooked.
doesn't equivalent.
It's not as impressing to me as a dude who almost broke Barry Sanders' record, regardless if he played in the Mountain West, which is probably one of the best Group of 5 conferences, maybe
Probably.
Yeah.
second to the American.
I think first this year,
Maybe.
based on the teams and how they performed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Colorado State was great. UNLV was great.
No, I
Uh,
like the argument of switch teams for those players and see how well
if
they
you
do.
switch them, it's still Ashton Genty that deserves it, and I still believe Ashton Genty deserves it.
You
Yep.
got something, Bryce?
I was gonna go back on track.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good call.
Well, I was going to take that as our discussion about Boise State. So I want to do something for you.
Okay.
We're going to move on to the 11-2, number 10, pony-cocked SMU Mustangs. Bryce, give us your thoughts.
Secret good team. Snuck right in. I don't know if I could say what I want.
You can. You just go ahead and say it.
Fucking ponycocks, man. They fucking drank gallons.
Say,
of
what did they
pony cum,
deliver?
man.
What did they deliver?
You know what they did at half? They say, let me drink that real quick. We should have
Fun
won
fact.
that game
Fun fact.
against Clemson.
They should have.
Liberty orders copious amounts of pony cum from SMU, just so you know.
Outrageous.
We have an
What a
agreement in place.
sentence!
We have an agreement in place.
Look, watch out for the Dynasty video coming to the Mittcast. It's a long edit, so it's going to take a while for it to get posted.
But God, it's so good.
But it'll be great. And you also get the whole story behind the Ponycocks. Colby, give us your thoughts on them, though.
They're they're sneaky good. They got a great
They got
offense,
weapons.
and they have decent edge rushers, as seen by Bryce winning the fucking Heisman with an edge rusher.
Hey, don't spoil it. You got to
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
beep it out.
Biggest bullshit ever. Fucking God. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of on the same level as Indiana, though. I feel ACC did not impress me at all, really, this season whatsoever. And, same is gonna go for Clemson later on. Yeah, I mean it sucks, but yeah, y'all can't compete with the SEC in the Big Ten. But yeah, they're fun. They're extremely fun team to watch. I think
I will be watching.
they're a good team. They're just not a great team, but they're a gooder team than Indiana.
A
gooder team.
I love the gooder. Ponycocks are gooder, but
great
the letter R.
It's a great story. I loved watching them. I think I said Tennessee might be the biggest sleeper team, but that's for in terms of the national championship. I think the Ponycocks might be the biggest sleeper team in terms of making a small little run here.
Make a little noise.
But yeah, Tony.
I don't know much about the team, so I'm just gonna end it with Ponycocks are gooder.
Moving on, we're gonna skip the number 11 team, and we're gonna go to the 11-2, number 12, Arizona State Sun Devils. Tony, any thoughts?
I'm not expecting much.
Cam Scatterbo is him, but
Tim Scatterbo is him.
he is him. But I just don't think
That's not an invalid sentence.
this team has quite enough juice to get to even the semis.
I don't know if their defense has the juice. However, Sam Levitt in that offense, shout out former MSU man, looks like a fucking baller along with Scatterbo. That offense is electric. However, like I said before, you come from the Big 12. I don't respect the Big 12. I never have, and I don't think I ever will respect the Big 12 as a conference because there is no defense in that conference. Only offense. I'm told they have the best offenses.
I think they have pretty good offenses.
Very
Some have said.
subpar,
What are we
very
doing?
subpar.
Not what I expected this episode to divulge into.
I love doing the
Clemson?
voice.
Oh, Arizona State.
Arizona
and then
State.
and then we'll get into the last team.
Are they good though?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Ooh.
not where I thought you were going with that.
They are. I think they're a hot team. I think they're the team with the most spirit and charisma
Most
going in the
momentum,
playoffs. Yes.
honestly. Because they fucking
Yeah.
whooped that ass in the Big 12 championship. They said, put us in.
Mm-hmm.
Put us in.
They're
Yeah.
ready.
But we're going to skip number 13 Miami, 14 Ole Miss, 15 South Carolina to get to the 10-3, number 16 Clemson Tigers. Bryce?
They have fight in them.
They got something.
Coaching is superb. I would argue some of the best coaching in the playoffs is on Clemson. And I think they're going to make some waves that people don't think will happen.
Dabo. It's over, Bubba. You only got a few more years left. Go out high like Nick Saban. That's it.
Short term to the point.
Yeah, I think I kind of.
That's all I got.
It's weird. It's a weird spot. Like, they do have the coaching experience, but also I think at the same time the coaching is letting the game get past them. So it's kind of weird. It's also, frankly, kind of a miracle that they're here in the first place.
Dabo's pulling a D'Antonio right now.
But yeah, so the miracle they're here. I don't know truly where they stand, but that takes us to Tony.
I never count on a kitty cat. Just you wait, Bubba.
I love it.
And then that brings us to officially going through and predicting the games. So here we go. We're going to start. We already kind of predicted it once. We'll start with Notre Dame versus Indiana. Tony, I'll let you lead off here.
Notre Dame, 23-17.
I had Notre Dame 42-21.
Notre Dame 38-10.
Notre Dame 38-24.
Sorry, Hoosiers. Bye-bye.
And then we'll slide back over to the left. We'll go Ohio State, Tennessee. Bryce, start us off.
Ohio State
No, I'm kidding.
45-21. Ryan Day's gonna come out swinging. Ohio State is fuming. Tennessee is getting cut.
You know, it's funny because I have Ryan Day coming out swinging and absolutely fucking missing. And like I said before, Tennessee's going to blitz them 42-10.
I got 31-24 Tennessee. They going to plant that motherfucking flag on that O. Tony.
Bro really gets a hard on for flag planting.
Yeah, no, I felt like that comment was mildly unnecessary.
It's just because of the lawmaker. That's a
fact. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I think it'd just be funny
Can you see
after that.
Trying to make it illegal to plant a flag at Ohio Stadium.
Soft. Just like their playoff performance. 35-28 Tennessee. Sit the fuck down, leave.
And then we're going to move down. Texas, Clemson. Tony, kick it off.
31-27. I never count out a kitty cat. Give me Clemson.
Woo!
The surprise noise maker.
Slow your roll.
Give me 38-10 Texas. I think we're going to see Clemson get belt ass by another SEC team this year.
Dabo, it's passing you up, buddy. But not quite yet. 34-28 Clemson.
Hey, that's my guy.
Woo!
I want to believe. There's a part of me that wants it to happen. But also, it's not gay. It's Matthew McConaughey. He teaches at the University of Texas.
There you
Avid
go.
Fan.
You know what? I
Texas
can't make that. I can't argue that at all.
Barely escapes due to Clemson missing a field goal to tie it, 19-16.
Ooh.
That's a tough loss.
That leaves us with the last first-round matchup of the Ponycocks traveling up to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Bryce.
Yeah, I started off thinking one way. And
One
I
way?
thought the other way. I was thinking more logically. I'm going to have Penn State losing 36-35. There's going to be a touchdown drive to win the game at the end.
You're going with the Ponycocks?
I'm going with the Cox.
I think.
That's eerily similar to what I have. I have 38-35 Ponycocks.
See, I have
James Franklin somehow.
I have a low-scoring affair. Ponycocks are going to keep it close. Kick a game-winning field goal, 17-14. Ponycocks.
I've got Ponycocks 24-14.
Wow.
I ain't got no faith in Penn State.
No faith. Well, we're going to now go from the number 4 seed all the way back up to 1. So we're going to start with Arizona State versus whomstever y'all had in that matchup. Tony, kick us off. Remind the viewers of
I
your
chose
matchup.
Clemson over Texas. I think the wave rolls on. Give me Clemson. Weird ass game 49-17. The harsh takes are coming.
I think complete opposite. I think Texas kind of steamrolls these first two games. I think they win 41-17.
I had Clemson winning in Dabo. Now it has finally passed you. Give me Arizona State 45-17.
You're really close to what I had the other way around.
I had Texas winning against Clemson barely. Their offense is going to get more production. They're going to be moving the ball more. They're still going to lose to Arizona State, 28-24.
That now brings us to Boise State, and we all had the Ponycocks. So, Bryce, Boise State Ponycocks, who you got?
You can only run so much against the Cox. That D-line's going to shut them down. 48-42, high-scoring affair.
You choosing the Ponycocks?
Cox.
Choosing the Ponycocks. Colby.
We're riding Genty State, baby. Give me 27-21.
I am also riding Genty State. Give me Boise State 28-24.
Genty State lives on. 35-21 Boise.
And I believe we all picked Notre Dame, so that gives us number 2 Georgia versus Notre Dame. Tony.
I got Georgia 24-21. It'll be a good game.
I have this being the only playoff overtime game this year.
Oh.
Give me Notre Dame 37, Georgia 34.
I'm sorry, little one.
Oh.
45-27 Georgia.
It's okay, because you're going to be wrong.
Damn.
Notre Dame's been pounding teams. Not going to pound Georgia. They're going to win what's been hurting us the most. Game-winning field goal, 24-23 Notre Dame.
And then that leaves us with Oregon versus whomstever we had. Bryce, kick it off for us.
I had Ohio State. Go ahead and throw me for an overtime game in the playoffs. We got to have some fun. This time Ohio State's going to come out on top of the Ducks. Ducks are walking home.
You.
Colbert.
I had Tennessee blitzing Ohio State. And they gave an Oregon run for their money. 28-27. Sco Ducks.
I also had Tennessee beating Ohio State. I think this is going to be a shootout game, and then we'll have a team pull away late and just kind of hold on to the lead. Give me Oregon 41 and Tennessee 31.
I had Tennessee over Ohio State. Oregon 42-17.
Well, we're going to go to the right side of the bracket. The right side semifinal matchup. Say your matchup. Say who you have going to the championship and the score of the game in your matchup.
I've got Georgia against Boise State. Ashton Genty rolls on. Boise State 34-24.
I have Notre Dame, Boise State. I think Boise State is going to put up a better fight than most people and the general public would probably think against Notre Dame. I still think Notre Dame gets it. Give me Notre Dame 35-31.
I'm boring. I have the top 4 seeds in the semifinals. However, do you believe in Genty State? Because I believe in Genty State. Give me Boise State 28-17 to shock the Dogs and send them to the national championship.
Cookie, you had spitting some facts right there. I got Notre Dame Ponycocks. Dream matchup any fan could ever want.
Truly
Yeah,
astonishing.
any fan.
I have Notre Dame also scoring 35 points.
Oh,
And I also have the loser scoring 31.
that's awesome.
That's
Notre
tough.
Dame championship game.
Moving to the other side of the bracket again. Say who you got. Say the score. Say who's going to the championship. Bryce, your matchup, your score, your national championship contender.
You know I got hot takes on this side of the bracket. Arizona State versus Ohio State.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be the highest scoring affair. Overtime game, semifinals, 55-49. Ohio State pulls it off. Puts the doubters to rest.
Colbert.
And then loses it all. No, I'm kidding.
I had Oregon or Arizona State. Old school Pac-12. So back in the day, you wouldn't even remember it.
Back when you had to walk uphill to school both ways in the snow.
Oregon's going to look a little vulnerable here. But the Ducks are going to find a way. Give me Oregon 31-30.
Now, I had Oregon, Texas. Like I said, in my opinion, I think Texas is the best team still. I'm going Texas 38, Oregon 35. Tony.
I had Oregon against Clemson. And I never count out the kitty cats. But the Ducks are flying too high. I've got Oregon 31-28.
Now that leaves us with the national championship. Say your matchup, say your score, say your winner. Tony.
I've got Oregon and Boise State. 21-24. He may not have won the Heisman, but he's not winning the Natty either. I got Oregon.
That's great.
Could you imagine? Yeah, I got Oregon.
I got Texas. I got Notre Dame. Sticking with who I had at the beginning of the season. Sticking with who I had after week 2. Give me Texas 42, Notre Dame 21.
Just like Tony, I have Oregon and Boise State. The final score being 31-28. Tony didn't have the balls to do it, and neither did I. I need Oregon for my futures bet, and I still believe that they are the best team in college football. Give me
Game
Oregon,
recognized game.
31-28. Genty does everything possible, scores all 4 touchdowns. Just not enough to beat the Ducks.
That's tough.
Falls to him once again.
You think for the Natty they'll paint the field blue?
Half blue, half green.
Iconic game. Ohio State, Notre Dame in the championship. That would be iconic. 2 huge names in college football. Some of the oldest programs.
That would drag
First
some views.
expanded playoff. Defensive game. Notre Dame comes out on top. 28-14.
I expect no less than you to pick Notre Dame to win it. You're a true fan.
So we got Notre Dame,
Respectfully.
Oregon, Texas, Oregon as the national champions.
Skuducks.
Let us know in the comments down below who you think's going to win each game, or even the Natty.
State Spartans. They can still get in.
With that being said,
LSU.
we'll come back and review this post-playoffs to see how just right or just how wrong we were. With that being said, we appreciate you being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Go follow us on the socials, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. Follow us on Twitch at Mittcast_live. Send this to your friends. Send this to your family. Send this to your uncles, your aunts, your boss's dog, your dog's dog.
Send it to your estranged aunt you haven't talked to since 3 Thanksgivings
There
ago
you go.
because she said something questionable at the dinner table.
Microorganisms living on your skin.
Hell yeah, water
Most
bugs.
importantly,
Just like and subscribe.
make sure you hit that bell.
Hit the bell.
We appreciate you being here. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.